At Brampton Community Centre, a group of residents passionate about keeping the regions they live in sustainable gathered for a series of talks.
Well, this evening is our annual meeting for Sustainable Brampton, which I run, and we like to have an external speaker. And one of the issues that I've been very conscious that we haven't really grasped with as much alacrity as we wanted was the plastics issue. And we know that PACT at Penrith have done a lot of work and had quite a lot of success locally about that, and Penrith isn't far away. So I felt it was a good opportunity to get them up here and to energise the Brampton community.
The agenda on single-use plastics has required a lot of planning for the future solutions the town can explore.
Well, this coming year, there's two main issues really. It's the reduction in quantity, the single-use plastic. But what I'd like to do is to provide something positive. And one of the projects that we want to get going is to have water fountain in Brampton. It'll cost a little bit of money, but it will enable visitors, particularly because Brampton is just off Hadrian's Wall, a lot of visitors, and if you can get them to refill their own bottles, then that actually is a step towards reducing the amount of plastic.
The group believes that the motivation to ensure everyone does their bit needs to be stronger than it is currently.
I think anyone who said they wasn't aware would be lying, but whether they do anything about it is another matter. And that's what we've got to try and do, is transform the goodwill and the yes, I agree in theory, and into and I will do something in practice. There's a whole host of things you can do, but it takes effort. And what we've got to try and do is get over that threshold and persuade people that the effort is worthwhile. Because, of course, it's one individual's effort doesn't make much difference. It's got to be collective to make a difference. And that's what we're hoping that this evening will kick off.
The guest speakers from PACT told the group about their past and current movement against single-use plastic.
So in Penrith, as PACT, we've been working on the plastic issue for at least the last couple of years, and in fact longer than that, because even thinking back to 2008, 2009 when we started, we were campaigning around single-use plastic bags. More recently, we've been campaigning particularly on other forms of single-use plastic, so plastic bottles, packaging, cups, straws, all of these types of products that we see in our everyday lives. And we're hoping that the work that PACT is doing is contributing to a broader voice, people reacting against plastic and trying to cut plastic out of their lives, and hopefully also push towards changes in supply chains and changes in government.
But they are optimistic that people do want to help combat the issue as awareness is slowly being raised.
I think the message is certainly getting through in many cases, and obviously programs like Blue Planet 2 from the BBC had a massive impact. So far we've got something in the order of 30 or 40 organisations have joined the refill scheme, and we're hoping that that will be a stepping stone towards cutting out other forms of plastic. So we're now working with other organisations in Penrith, and there's a project called Plastic Clever Penrith, and the aim is to really start to become smarter about how we use packaging, trying to cut packaging out of our lives. And we're really encouraged that there's some shops already on board with this initiative. And there's shops like, for example, Another Way in Penrith, which is selling products loose. So we can now start to buy food and beverages and toiletries without packaging. And there are other businesses like Nature's Health, which is also following in the same direction. So already there are options for consumers in Penrith, and we're just looking to broaden that out so that people have more choice. Because we're very aware that some people are really concerned about the plastics issue and they want to try and reduce the amount of plastic, but it's still very hard, even with good intentions, because you walk into many shops and supermarkets and you're faced with a wall of plastic. So we really need to work to give people alternatives.
Residents attending the evening engaged enthusiastically in the hope that we can accelerate the rate at which we remove single-use plastics from our communities and our lives. Kieran McFadgen, That's TV.